Right, let's hope the sound is working. I've just done a 10-minute stream with dodgy ass sound coming out. First of many technical difficulties, I imagine. Just let me know in the chat if you can't hear very well. If you can't hear very well. First of many, but I think it's all alright from my end. But yeah, we'll start again. So I wanted to do an update on Bitcoin, mostly. I came to you a couple of days ago, and a few things are starting to play out as we spoke about. Yo, Hamza, thank you for that, man. That actually would have been a nightmare without you. I would have done the whole stream. No sound, so safe. Nice to have you here, bro. So, cool. Last time I came, we were just about here at the 50% level from the daily break. And what I was talking about was basically not being comfortable longing until we get a bit of a deeper pullback on the 4 hour. We had identified this uptrend beginning with the intention of it possibly going up to this bearish OB up here. You can take a look at that video and have a look. Anyway, hopefully that stopped, but I'll have to sort that out. Anyway, hopefully that stopped. I don't know how much of that did you hear. Did you hear much of that? Not a very successful stream. We'll continue on though. We'll just let this update get out and see how it ends up processing it on the other side. But essentially I was looking for a deeper pullback from this level here. I'll make it quicker this time because I've said this about 6 times already. When I last came to you, I was looking for a deeper pullback and I was looking for this trend to continue. When we broke this strong low on the 15-minute, it was clear that we were coming down for a deeper correction to the 50%. So that would have been a good time to potentially get out of a few long positions, scalp positions, and start being a bit patient for lower. But we've had the nice 50% pullback now, which is what we were expecting to long. And I did long at the 618 because my plan was initially to wait for the 50%, target 1-to-1. But with this nice wick that we had on the FOMC, it was worth it to me to jump in at the 618 here, especially with the hourly MACD so low. So we're gonna trade the trend until the end, and the trend right now is up. We've had a really nice pullback to the 50% zone. If you want to be more conservative and wait for confirmation that this downtrend is reversing, that's fine. We've got a clear 15-minute high just here. So if you want to be more conservative, the trade would be this. You just enter on this break here. So yeah, I'm going to target 1-to-1, take some off, shave some off, and then we'll hold until the trend breaks. Hopefully this low here is strong enough to take us to new highs. And then this will be the new low to break to confirm a reversal. Hopefully you heard some of that. But yeah, I'm going to look at the total in a bit. And if you have any alts that you want me to look at, I'm not going to look at alts unless I get any comments. So if you want any alts checking out, then just pop them in the comments. But we're long from the 618 of this leg, and we're holding out until further confirmation of reversal. But on the higher time frame, like I've mentioned in previous videos, I do think this is a retracement that will reverse and take us to new lows, to the 50% of the weekly leg. Until then, we're long. And this was a really nice entry we got today. Total is the same boat. Almost the same chart, really, with a bit more strength. But I'm playing it the same way. I'm not in as many alt positions. I tend to be scalping a bit more in this market with alts, and I'll be holding out a few Bitcoin trades. But with such a wick like this, it's difficult for me to be holding out any altcoin longs or shorts. So I'm just scalping real quick in and out. Thoughts on since you need to create another low, possibly a higher low around the wick area, as confirmation that we're reversing the lower time frame downtrend. Would you like to see an hourly MSS here instead? That's true. If that's what you mean, that is true. That's a much stronger sign that we're reversing this trend. So if we see a break of this level, then a 50% pullback from the leg that breaks it should take us to new highs, and that would be a nice trade in itself. And you could take a scalp with the low, with the stop loss just below this low. So that would be a really nice scalp to take, and I'll take that if that occurs. Until then, you could take a higher time frame long position like I have done here, that potentially you're going to hold out a little bit, in which case you don't need the same confirmation, and you don't really want to wait for it to break the hourly, because then your trade would look something like this, which is still a good trade. What I like to do though is take the lower time frame MSS and go off of that, as long as it's come back 50%, which it has really nicely. But yeah, you're completely right. Yeah, so if it does break the high and comes back down, that'll be a really nice long. In fact, I'd like to take that too, with scalps. And I'm sure a similar thing would play out on alts. You might have a break of this level here and feel comfortable longing a pullback. And if any other alts have similar charts to this, then essentially, yeah, that's the gist. That's what I do with the total chart. I like to trade alts that are in confluence with the total chart. It makes me feel much more in control of my trades. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. We'll see if the 15, obviously if this 15-minute high breaks, another way to look at it is we could break this 15-minute, pull back and get another nice scalp long that doesn't actually break the 1 hour. So the 1 hour structure remains bearish, but we've had the 15-minute bullish market structure shift to give us this long here. But that looks like it's most likely going to play out while I'm asleep anyway. I don't think I understood it right. If the 15-minute MSS, likely just an hourly retrace and head lower. Is this the 15-minute MSS you're talking about here? The bullish one? Cool. So if we break that, it's likely just a retrace on the hourly to take us to new lows. Just an hourly retrace. Yeah. If we have the 15, it would just be an hourly lower high and head lower. Yeah, essentially, yeah. And that's why you've got to play things by ear, really. Especially in this scenario. Because you're right, if we break this, it might just be confirmation that we're going to get another lower, another hourly lower high, which would bring us lower. But it's still a low time frame trend reversal, and it may give you this nice long position here, a scalp, a quick one. It's worth it, in my opinion, to long this 15-minute market structure shift, as long as you're in a bit of a longer time frame, a longer term trade. If you're scalping, then yeah, it might be much better for you to wait for the hourly break and then wait for 50% off of the hourly. And then at that point you could probably put your stop loss below this low in expectation of it making a new high on the hourly. For now, with this wick, I decided to be a bit more conservative. Entered on the 618, stop below the swing low. So if my stop gets taken, it's likely that this trend is going to reverse anyway. take us lower. If not, we make new highs. But this is a really nice, for me, a really nice structure on the 15-minute. That's a really strong move down. And if this is taken completely, if this is taken back completely, with forced to take us higher than the last lower high, then I'd be confident that we're going to reverse this and then take out the 1 hour. But we'll see how that goes. I think that's a nice trade. Hopefully it takes us up to the daily bearish OB. But also hopefully you understand that. Hopefully it's clear that we had a clear downtrend here that showed signs of reversal, made lows, made new highs, and that this trend continuation is what we're playing. I guess, yeah, I guess that is true. It's a 15-minute level from a news event. One thing I like to always say is that the charts come first and the news comes second. You know, it's less often for me, I find, that the news completely surprises the market